Okay, thank you everyone for coming this evening. I know had you waiting a little bit, but we're very happy to bring together this small group to have a roundtable with Deputy Secretary of State William Burns. This is a very rare opportunity, as you know.
Thank you.
So please choose your questions wisely. Pick the best ones. There will be few of them. We don't have much time, so I apologize in advance. Once we get the signal that we have to end, I'll have to end with last question, okay? And you'll have to forgive me until next time. We're ready to begin.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to see all of you this evening, and it's certainly a pleasure to be back in Algiers, which I've visited many times over the years. This visit, coming so soon after the visit of Secretary Clinton and the U.S.-Algeria Strategic Dialogue earlier this fall, is another opportunity to strengthen our constructive and strategically important bilateral relationship. I had excellent and wide-ranging discussions earlier today with President Bouteflika, the Prime Minister, and other senior Algerian officials. We continue to work together to deepen our ties with the government and the people of Algeria across a broad, mutually beneficial agenda, including trade and investment, security cooperation, diplomatic partnership, democratic reform, and cultural and educational programs. In the past year, Algeria has taken further steps to strengthen its democracy. We were encouraged by the roughly 21 million Algerian voters who participated in elections earlier this year to determine who would occupy the National Popular Assembly. These elections, and I would note the high number of women elected, were a welcome step in Algeria's progress toward democratic reform. Algeria has dealt with terrorism on its own territory and was one of the first countries to condemn the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks in the United States. Since that time, we have intensified contacts in key areas of mutual concern and are encouraged by Algeria's strong support of international counterterrorism efforts, including our partnership in the Global Counterterrorism Forum. We applaud Algeria's resolve to stem the proliferation of weapons, drugs, and fighters across the Sahel and strongly support these efforts. Our two countries share concern over instability in Mali and its negative impact on regional security. We support efforts to facilitate a political dialogue with non-extremist groups in northern Mali. We understand Burkina Faso, in its role as lead mediator for ECOWAS, is preparing a framework for negotiations. We continue to call for a coordinated international effort to accelerate the beginning of serious political talks between the rebel groups and the interim government of Mali. Algeria has an important role to play in this process. The United States highly values our relationship with the government and people of Algeria and is committed to deepening our cooperation in the months and years ahead. And now I'm glad to take your questions. Please.
Hassan Wali from Al-Watan newspaper. Ma question justement sur le Mali. L'on parle depuis un certain nombre de temps sur une solution politique ou une solution militaire. Est-ce que les États-Unis d'Amérique sont favorables à une intervention militaire au nord du Mali? Merci.
Well, there are a number of different dimensions to the challenge in Mali today. A political crisis within Mali, a humanitarian crisis caused by refugees and internally displaced persons, or resulting in refugees and internally displaced persons, and a security crisis, which is a shared concern of the United States and Algeria, particularly the danger of violent extremist groups using northern Mali as a safe haven. A successful strategy to deal with all those challenges also has to have several dimensions. We've worked with others in the international community to help deal with the humanitarian challenge posed by the refugee crisis. As I said in my opening remarks, we strongly support Algeria's leadership in fostering political dialogue, including between the Tuareg and the government, the interim government in Mali. And in response to the security risks posed by the situation in Mali, we certainly support increased counterterrorism cooperation, cooperation with Mali's neighbors, as well as with the interim government in Mali. And we believe that an African-led multinational force supported by the international community may be necessary. Thanks.
from AFP.
Hi.
We read a lot of news talking about the position between positions of France and the United States over the Mali issue. Could you confirm there are differences, are there nuances, or finally you agree more than what is said?
Well, I just laid out what the American approach is to the crisis in Mali, and all I would add is that, we work very closely with our partners in France on this challenge. I think we have a shared view of the nature of the threat that's posed, and we look forward to continuing to work closely together in the weeks and months ahead.
Bonsoir, Karim Kibir de Journal
Mr.
Liberté.
Burns, you are visiting Algeria in a moment where there are a lot of officials from different countries interested by the situation in Mali. We have had envoy from the UK, we have had the special envoy from the African Union, and there is also Ansar Dine present here. Have you had the opportunity to meet them?
I haven't. The meetings I've had here are just those that I described to you before. All I would say, I think, is that it's a mark and a reminder of the important role that Algeria plays in working with its neighbors and working with the international community to deal with the challenges in Mali, that you have so many visitors and envoys here. So, as I said, we believe Algeria's role in dealing with this crisis is extremely important, and we look forward to strengthening our cooperation on this issue. Hi.
Would you consider important that Algeria participate, along with Mauritania, to a Western African force, if necessary, to free North Mali?
Well, Algeria can obviously speak for itself in terms of the position that it takes. All I would stress again is that we value greatly Algeria's role in dealing with the crisis in Mali and the challenges that it poses for the entire region. And we certainly look forward to deepening our cooperation with Algeria, as well as with others in the region and the international community in the weeks ahead.
I think I frightened them so much with only 10 minutes.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Peut-on dire aujourd'hui que tous les acteurs internationaux, donc je parle de la CEDEAO, de l'Algérie, de la France, des États-Unis, ont une approche et une convergence de vues sur la solution apportée au Mali?
I think there's a great deal of shared concern about the situation in Mali in all of its dimensions, in terms of the humanitarian challenges, the political challenges, the security challenges that it poses. And I do believe that there's an increasing convergence of view amongst key players in how best to deal with those challenges. And given the urgency of the situation and the nature of the threats, we're going to continue to work hard to deepen that cooperation. But thank you all very much. It's nice to have the chance to meet with all of you this evening.
Merci.